Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Mind Gears, the cooler waters, with, of course, a lot of opinions, insights, views from our guest speaker this afternoon. It's a lovely day. It's Saturday, October 10th, 2020, 2:30 in the afternoon here in the Philippines. And I would like to say good morning and good evening to all the rest of our friends around the globe. Please join me in this 2 hour real talk, only here at the Minders channel, your TV. Yes, I'm so extremely delighted to be with you this afternoon again. And with God's guidance, we were able to invite another very important person in my life, a very inspiring, a very motivational speaker. And in due respect to him, thank you. At this early, I would like to say thanks to him for giving me this opportunity to be my guest this afternoon. This afternoon is another lovely day of sharing, another lovely day of giving insight, inspiration, and motivation to all our Filipino people, not only to my Facebook friends, not only to my YouTube subscribers and to my fan page, but to all the rest of the people in the world. Because during this time of pandemic, it is but very easy to tap and reach them, giving them inspiration and encouragement. And my segment, this cooler water, is just a segment to do all of this, to do all of this vision that I have. My way of saying thank you to all the subscribers that I have and to the people that I love, to my family as well. And since we are at the comfort of our home, we're just very lucky to be safe and happy with our family. So I would like to take advantage of that opportunity to again impart inspiration to all of us. And talking about inspiration, we will be talking about leadership, not only in the organizational setup, but at the same time at home in our daily activities. Because during this time, I believe leadership, crisis leadership, is very timely to apply in this very volatile and this very complex world at the same time with pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you, to introduce to you my guest speaker, my very special guest this afternoon. Let me read my introduction to him. As I always say, I don't want to be mistaken in giving him the honor. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker today is a well traveled European, UK, London, US, West and East Coast, China, Hong Kong, wow, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia as consultant and for vacation at the same time. Joined to international management consulting companies, an operation director of SNG British International Consulting and IMPAC Impact, America's world pioneer in productivity improvement, professor in marketing, graduate school, business communication, strategic management, international marketing, ABBSc, MBA, PhD, and has 3 year law proper. What can you say? Oh my goodness. I think there's just few of that great credential. I know this just few because I don't want to give it all to everyone. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our audit productivity improvement, change management, and ISO consultant, an executive trainer here and abroad, a great motivational speaker, my mentor, my coach. Please welcome the very multi-talented Mr. Nick A. Matias, aka Master Sheng Wei.
All
Sir
right.
Nick, good morning,
Yes.
good afternoon to
Good
you.
afternoon, Reds. How are you?
Wow, I'm doing great. Much more great because you have with me this afternoon.
Well, I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be one of your guests in your show. And more importantly, I would like to really congratulate you for coming out with this kind of show that will be very helpful to the business community as well and all people who manage to watch your fruitful show.
I'm nervous, Sir Nick, but I'm just trying to pretend that I'm okay, but I'm so nervous. Listening from you because I've been your participant. I've been listening to your talk. I've been there. You trained me many times. As in my company, the Phil Investment Incorporated, we invited you, and you're one of the greatest leaders and trainers who motivated us and trained us in different aspects from the different programs you gave us. So really, I want to be honest. I'm not so sure if I can handle. I can integrate some questions, but I'll try to improve my listening skill to you. Okay. So for the benefit of our viewers this afternoon, we will be discussing crisis leadership. So this is very timely because not only the organization, but at the same time, the family are actually foregoing and experiencing such kind of crisis in every situation every day. So before that, Sir Nick, can you please tell us how can we define crisis and why is it is different because there is management, right? So why crisis? What is crisis, by the way?
All right. Let's put it this way. Let's define crisis as any event that is expected to lead to an unstable and dangerous situation affecting people, affecting organizations, affecting everyone else in the community. It is more or less deemed to affect almost all facets of life, including political, economic, social, health, environment, and all other affairs within that state or within that country or within the globe. It is unexpected, so meaning to say everyone else is caught what?
The situation.
Flat-footed or barefooted. We were surprised
Yeah.
at the onset. So all of us are in a frantic mode and we try to really see how we will survive this mode that everyone else try to be very try to be very discerning because we don't know how a particular crisis will last, how long, how short, and it depends on a particular leader. And this leader is the life of the organization, the life of the country, and the life of everyone in the whole community.
Wow, that is very clear. So yes, you're true, Sir Nick, that master. Shall I call you Master Sheng Wei?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, at
Master.
your convenience.
Master, I've been into that situation that from that usual old world that we have, and this crisis interfere. This is something like you're telling us, Sir Nick, that it is a something somehow a anxiety, a situation
Yeah,
that during the pandemic brought us, shall we say, chaos because it is very volatile. No, the change is something like negative, and that when you look into it, Sir Nick, why is it that during this time, even inside the family, it is very important to define this first before we react, before we try to give our response to a situation. You need to define first crisis for us to
yeah,
manage every day, right, Sir Nick?
yeah. Renz, may I
Yeah,
describe to you the kind of environment that we are into to borrow the framework
wow,
of one famous author, and it's called VUCA. Because we are in the age or in the time where we
yeah,
have the volatility of the environment, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity. All of these are surmounting everyone in our community. And with this in mind, I believe that we need a very, very unique kind of leader to survive in this kind of scenario.
that's correct. And that in that time, Sir Nick, still a lot of people has were not able to cope up with that. They're so reactive. We're so discouraged about this. And because of a lot of the ambiguity that happened, Sir Nick, we don't know. There's a lot of interpretation. There's a lot of linkages, and some news really affect us every day. But going back to that perspective now, because there's a lot of leaders now. Let's focus on the leadership itself, because we, as a member of the family, are the leaders itself inside our house. And when you get out of your house in a certain organization, let's focus first in the concept of a big organization where
Yeah.
during this time, the flow, the system, the process, how they're going to run it was affected by this crisis. Now, tell us, Nick, what are those things that we need to consider in making the situation, how do you call it, more, shall we say, more resilient to the situation? For
More
us, it is,
livable,
yeah, something
more
like that.
livable, more
How,
exciting, more challenging, more
yeah, maybe.
inspiring.
Is there a term for that, Sir Nick, that during the crisis, it could be exciting, it could be thrilling as well?
Yeah, of course. Uh, well, towards the end of this virus or during this particular time, we are in that stage that a particular leadership model is still being modeled. But with my readings the last few days, there is already a kind of leadership that they call medical populism.
Wow, what is that? That is
Yeah.
new.
So there are
Medical.
three outstanding, not outstanding, but presidents that became a byword for this medical population, populism. And we have this President Trump, President Duterte, and President Bolsonaro of Brazil. So they are the three presidents that were labeled as sporting this kind of leadership, which is called medical populism. So, what is medical populism? Well, towards the end we will discuss that, but for now, let's try to
For now,
see uh, how well the leaders
it's still,
should lead the
yes.
flock or should lead the people on the right
Because,
path of direction. So we need to have uh, a path. I call it a hope land. A hope land. No,
but
a
it,
hope
that's
land.
new.
Oo,
Hope.
it's a hope land that we are supposed to land short of
Wow,
becoming a utopia for all of us, but we need to have certain kind of approach to do this, and leaders should more or less use or focus on behaviors rather than tactics or tasks.
wow.
Focus on behaviors rather than task or tactics. What are these? First is lead with what we call empathy. So empathy is different from sympathy. Empathy is putting yourself in the shoes of another person. So empathy is one notch higher than sympathy. Sympathy are just words of encouragement, a tap on the shoulder, and giving some assurances that things will be all right, not in the near future, but in the short run or in the long run. There's an optimism to it. But being empathic is really digging deeper into the commitment of a person to really put himself beyond himself. So we call it human, passionate humanity. We call it passionate
Really.
humanity. It's
What I
more
like is
a rule of the
you
heart rather than
first.
the mind. A rule of the heart rather than the mind or mind over matter. So first things first, prioritize the well-being of the stakeholders, whether it's the organization or whether it's in the community, including your own health. Why? Because if you are the leader and your health is the one that will suffer most, then you cannot lead the flock as vigorous and as healthy as you can be. So the well-being of the stakeholders should matter most. So we should lead with empathy. And the first one. Second is we have to lead or streamline our decision making. Why streamline our decision making? As leaders, we have to quickly process information as fast as we can to determine what matters most and make decisions with conviction. There must be a strong
Wow.
conviction and there must be always a balance between urgent versus important. That's a famous Stephen Covey line
Yeah.
uh, in his book. No, what is urgent and what is important? What is less important? More urgent, more important, less urgent. So that's where you are. You have to balance more of the urgent versus the important, because urgent things are things that are life and death issues. Important things can be postponed, but urgent things cannot be postponed because it's a matter of life and death. So bear that in mind. We have to streamline decision making, balancing between urgent and what is important. So bear that in mind, because the leader should always have that in his mind. Third step in leading this kind of situation is embrace innovation. How do we embrace innovation? Align our team focus. After we have organized our team, we have to align the team focus, establish new guidelines, establish new metrics to get the performance, and create a culture of accountability. Because
Wow.
during pandemic trends,
Yeah.
there are only few operating departments that must be operational. Not all departments should be operational because of the expense costs. Alam natin yan that in this business nowadays, majority of the companies are going down the drain in terms of profitability index. So we need to only highlight those areas that are really crucial in the delivery of what we call the deliverables. Okay?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, I
is
know.
our third uh,
Yeah.
behavior concern. And the fourth is engage with impact. Engage with impact.
With
We know that
impact.
engagement is deeper commitment of the employees and the leader to the organization, to the country, to the people, and to the causes which he is trying to really put in the forefront of himself. Lead with intent, reinforce with vision, and
Mm-hmm.
values to support. Never forget the values, because the values are what will humanize all our efforts. What are values? Values are caught, they are not taught. And we have to stay within that moral compass. What is moral compass? We should lead by example.
Yeah.
If you cannot lead by example, you cannot be true leaders. True leaders are people with good examples to his subordinates, or to the people whom he is governing. Okay? And it must be with engagement, deep impact, which is life saving, which is life saving. So if it's life saving, we cannot perpetuate life saving approaches if we are not able to really push people and trust trust us because of the moral compass that we carry with us. And these are the strong values that we held dear to ourselves. And then the fourth one is adapt with agility. Be
Wow.
agile. Agile is quick quick response with initiative, and trying to be very flexible. In the snap of the finger, there must be presence of mind. We should encourage experimentation and embrace what we call action. There is no business here if the leader cannot put his words into action, because action will try to really put value to our commitment in terms of our words. And we should balance between survival today versus success tomorrow. So you
Wow.
see, the lifeline here is how we balance our survival today
Yeah.
versus success
Mm.
tomorrow. And that is very
Tomorrow.
crucial,
Wow.
Renz, in terms of organizational impact. No?
Yeah.
And then the last one is, do you have any question, right?
No, I am overwhelmed. I don't know, you have a lot of things shared already. I want to shoot each one of them. That's why I'm writing. I'm learning from you. Go ahead, Sir Nick. I am full. I am full already. in just few minutes. You've given a lot, and that's why I'm writing. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead, Nick. Oh my God.
And the last one is how to communicate effectively. Because there are a lot of communication processes that we have to put in place. And to put this bluntly, you have to be bluntly honest in your
Yeah.
communication. You
Mm.
cannot hide things before the eyes of your subordinates or your people. You have to be very, very honest. And honest communication should be seen in what we call it's very common, Renz, honesty. You have to you have to do what you preach.
Walk the talk.
Yeah,
Something like that.
talk, walk the talk. You cannot exemplify good moral values and carry out your communication channels and open line of engagement with your subordinates and people unless you are very honest to them. Hiding things from them will not do good to your organization or to the people because honesty is the basis of a strong moral organization that can withstand any kind of what we call crisis. We are in a crisis today, and we don't know when it will last. And I hope it will last shortly only, not looking it in a different way that it is just a short time palliative to the
That's
things
very
that we are experiencing. And in times of crisis also, leaders need to focus on the 8 C's. 8 C's.
eight
Capital C.
C's.
Eight
Capital
C.
C.
Eight
Okay.
C. These are the things that will matter most to the leader and to the people, to the organizations which they are governing or which they are
Mhm.
managing. No, first C is connection.
Yeah.
Connection.
It's very
Connection
important.
is very important because once there is a pandemic or there is a crisis, you really have to activate all sorts of networks that you have. And
Yes.
activating all of these networks will give you a leeway on filtering which networks uh, will you be in tandem with and which networks should be filtered out because they are not good networks to bank on the things that you will be doing. And we need at least 2 skills here. And what are the skills
Mhm.
that a leader needs here? One is the situational awareness skills.
Situational
Mindfulness,
awareness.
Renz, mindfulness. State of
Mindfulness.
mindfulness is necessary. Being aware and at the same time you have the pure intent to push through with your with your uh,
Straight.
with
With
your
your thinking.
intention and purpose. After connecting, we have the collaborating. Another C. Number two is
Elaborate. Yeah.
collaborating. Who needs to collaborate with? Okay, we know that many organizations nowadays, depending on the number of years they have been in the business, are already using deep structure, organizational structure. And when there is a deep organizational structure, chances are decision making is very slow. If
Yeah.
the decision making is very slow, your efforts to deliver to the beneficiaries, no, to the people who are depending on you for help or assistance, it won't click.
Yeah. Won't
It
work.
won't
It
click
will be
because
delayed.
there is
Yeah.
a delay, and any second of delay will involve a lot of social reforms that should have been done. No. Second, for the negotiating skills, for the adaptation skills for this collaborating activity,
Mhm.
we need the negotiating skills. The leader should be very good at negotiation, and negotiation is always a two-party system, a
System.
two-party effort, giving way either or, benefiting either or to the disadvantage or advantage of one over the other. It's always a cost-benefit ratio that must govern our negotiation skill.
And
And
it's something like a win-to-win situation, right? You're
yes,
telling
it's
it.
always a win-to-win situation. Okay? And the second skill needed here is a decision-making skill. Why do I say that decision-making skill is very important in collaborating? Because when you do your decision-making skill, you quickly combine intuition with analysis to choose the best course of action or decision to
Oh,
push for
true.
a particular action. We need action
Actually,
here, Renz. We don't need expletives. We need action. We need action. And action agenda should always be part of our realization to help and assist people
yeah,
in all walks of life affected by the pandemic or crisis, for that matter. And the third C is what we call coordinating skill. Okay. What
mm,
is coordinating skill? It's leveraging core competencies, the ability to adapt, synchronize, capabilities to rapidly deploy what we call resources based on the core competencies of the people whom you retain and whom you will try to delegate the responsibilities and accountabilities. Accountabilities and responsibilities should always be part of what we call the coordinating skills. And we have two skills here. First skill is what we call envisioning skill.
yeah,
When we do our when we do our community efforts to help our comrades, no, in this
yeah,
pandemic, we need to
mm,
have two skills in place. We should not lose track of our vision. We have
yes,
the vision
that's
of the
true.
company, the vision of the country, which will lead us to the strategic way of doing our microscopic activities inside the organization. And the second skill we need here is the partnering skill. The partnering skill is the ability to recognize what we call interdependencies, not independencies. This is a time for interdependencies,
Trying
not
to say,
independencies of people whom will trying to help us in this effort to help each other during this pandemic. And then the port C, the port na tayo, no? We have the command and control, which is very important.
wow,
Command, when we talk of command, your capability to manage or utilize your personnel in a manner that he or she will follow you despite your absence. Because if it's a if you are operating on a satellite basis, you have many branches,
you need to
just the
delegate.
mere voice of rents is enough to drive people around to do their own kind of deliverables, no?
Yeah,
And we need that command. Command
mm,
is very, you should have a strong presence. You must be an influencer and you must have what we call the charm to
the
deliver
trust.
the blow through a
Yeah,
gentle
I cannot
whisper.
forget. They always say that to me. The charm, the persona. I will not forget that. That's true.
You have to deliver the blow through a gentle whisper. And this is short of
Ooh,
saying that you use assertive communication, which is one of the seminar topics that I delivered for your company, Phil
yeah,
Invest, in the past. And
I remember.
also, we need two skills here. One is the
Under
communication skill. And from our
communication
communication skill, we know that we have the oral, in writing, and the
writing,
sign language, and all other means of communication. But no matter what kind of medium you use, you should be very transparent with the people. Transparency is key here. No? Transparency is key here when we do our communication. And communication is always vital in any kind of activity that we do regarding this pandemic or crisis that is before us. And the managing skill. Of course, when we say managing skill, we have what we call the managing skills. What are the managing skills? Rents, what are the managing skills? We
the
have the
basic
planning,
skill,
organizing,
planning, we're
leading,
organizing, coordinating, yeah,
controlling, delegating,
controlling the
staffing.
basic
And
functions.
in our book, The Gems of Management, GEMS, GEMS, no,
Yes,
GEMS. One
yeah,
is the goal setting, which is crucial. Second is execution, which is even if you have the goal without execution, you will
no
not be able to
execution.
achieve
Mm,
targets or
yeah,
objectives. And is measuring, which is your big
measuring,
data, your analytics and metrics in place. And then the S is for sustainability. And your sustainability is always
maintain.
the forefront of what we are after. If we are in a profitability or profitable organizations, what we call here is the core of how we will survive. And organizations are suffering a lot of performance negativity these times. Renz. Okay,
Sir
Renz, do
Nick,
you have questions?
I can't breathe anymore, Sir Nick. Every words that came out from your mouth are
Hmm.
just significant. I don't know where to put the tin words already.
I
You
still
have
have another three.
oh my
Three
God.
more.
You have
Four
connect,
more.
connection,
Four
collaboration,
more.
communication, command and control, and you
Mhm.
have two
Another
more.
four,
Four.
which is
Because
very
you're
important and
yeah.
crucial
Wow.
in the way how leaders should lead us in this crisis. Well, the next is calmness.
Come
Calmness.
okay.
Okay.
Wow.
We
There's
must have
calmness
a strong, yes, calmness.
from the
We
heart.
have a strong presence of mind, deep sense of
Mind.
self-control and mindfulness. It's always head over heart, mind over
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
Because if we do not have the calmness, we will not be able to live in a world where we have a quiet environment. All of us will always be on top of our voice, always shout out so loud, and will not be able to really achieve an environment that is peaceful. Okay?
Yeah.
And we need a proactive mindset, friends, not reactive
What
mindset
do you mean
here. We
proactive
need
mindset, Sir Nick?
proactive
What do you
mindset
mean
is
mindset?
something that okay, there are three types of people, the friends. Okay.
Yeah.
The three types of people are these people. Uh, there are people who make things happen.
Okay.
Who make things happen. There are people who watch things happen.
Make
Makes things
watch.
happen. Watch
Okay.
things happen. And what's the third kind of people? Who people who what?
Make it
Ren?
happen. Make
Make
it
it
happen.
happen. So we need people who will make things happen. Those are
All right.
the proactive people. In an environment that we are into today, we can only afford to entertain people
Right.
who are positivity oriented, who really look at the brighter side of things, who are optimists, but not toxic optimism.
Okay.
But not toxic optimism. That's not what we want in terms of positivity. Okay. Next is
That's
clarity. Why we
clarity.
need clarity? Okay, clarity is being clear about and precise use of our oral and writing communication whenever we do and appeal to our benefactors, to the people around us, to the people whom we are working. We should be very clear. And anong skill ang kailangan natin dito? There must be a clear thought patterns, logicality, rational base, deep analytical, and critical thinking skills should always be present on this.
We
And
need
the
to understand.
next is consistency. Okay.
Ooh,
To be able to lead a group of people
we
in
must be
the
consistent.
organization or to the people in the community, we need to have consistency in all our efforts. Unity of words and unity of actions. What we meant, what we say should be what we meant. Mean what we say and say what we mean to avoid misunderstanding, especially if we are dealing with all walks of life. Certainly, expectations are varied. Diversity is what we call very huge in the community of our organization. No, and we need to have different skills here when we want consistency. First is the judgment skill. Second is the reasoning skill. Third is the problem solving skill. And fourth is the decision making skill. Okay? All of these should be in place. And last but not the least is the communication skill.
Yeah.
Communication skill are the patterns of thoughts and articulation must be clear cut and strong enough to be understood without misinterpretations from our audience or from the people whom we will be working or working with. And we need four skill here. Okay. The leader should possess this skill. First is the competency skill. What is competency skill? The set of
Oh,
skills that are being used when you do your job, when you do your assigned deliverables. Second is a discerning skill. Okay,
Sure.
what is discerning skill? Your ability to judge the right and the
Wrong.
rightness or wrongness of a particular course of action process. And then we have the persuasive skill. We have to sell good the benefits of what we're doing, and we should convince every other people in the environment, because if there will be one people whom we will not be able to convince about the things that
Yeah.
we will do will be beneficial to the community, then we will be creating ripples effect in the community. One ripple effect can affect the whole magnitude of people in the community or in the organization. And last is the negotiation skill. Again, negotiation skill is very important because we have to determine uh, things that will be better for the organization, always for the good of everyone, not just for one single person or single group or nor single sector. It should be unqualified sector being addressed. Do you have some question, Renz?
What can I say, Sir Nick? But an applause to you. If the
Huh?
leaders is watching right now, I think you deserve at this early. You
We
know,
are
Sir Nick,
seven. Last na lang.
you
Okay,
have one
last na
other.
lang. Last na lang.
Okay.
Leaders are born. Leaders are not born, but leaders are made. Because
Yeah.
especially during a crisis,
Yeah,
a
I love
leader
that.
will lead more powerfully displaying the following traits. Okay, what are these traits that we need to have our leaders possess? One is resilience. Okay,
Excellent.
next is innovation. Third is
Mhm.
compassion. Fourth is resolve, strong resolve, diligence, brutal honesty, and hope. All right.
Wow.
So these are the traits that a leader should possess
Should,
to be able
should
to lead
possess.
his work
Wow.
successfully in thriving. We should not only live through the virus, but we also need not only live but thrive also. For
Situation, whatever
whatever
situation.
reasons, we need to really succeed in
Yes.
overcoming the pandemic. But we have to look up to our leader, and in choosing our leader, we need to be very careful.
Sir Nick, if a
Yes,
leader is, all our leaders is watching right now, and
yes,
in this few minutes that we have, I have written all what you have said. And if I am talking in front of people, I cannot just lay this as clear, as organized, as precise as what you have mentioned a while ago. How do you do this, Sir Nick? Where is this coming from? How?
well,
How?
with my
Because
engagement of more than 30 years in the field of consulting, no? Every other kind of leader I have interacted with, I have mingled with, and I have seen that some of the leaders in many organizations are the problems inside the org. Sometimes they are the problems.
yeah,
Mm.
I know, I
Sometimes they
know.
are the problems.
But
They,
Sir
they,
Nick,
they're
Sir
not, they do not have open eyes about the weaknesses that they
yeah,
possess. And they
uh,
always blame those people downwards or the subordinates uh, as the culprits. But sometimes it's not eh. Sometimes it's the leader because there is a faulty character in the
yeah,
leader.
because the
Not
leader will
all
have
leaders
to
are
decide.
perfect. Not all
Correct.
leaders are perfect.
Mm-mm. Sir Nick,
Yes.
from the leader that you encountered, because how I wish I can just, shoot all
Mm.
of this and that we have more time, we can discuss. Because all of the skills that you have shared, accordingly to all these traits you have mentioned, aside from the traits that you have mentioned, there's a corresponding skill, a
Yes.
corresponding ability that you need to apply or you need to oversee for you to be effective. Say, for example, in calming yourself, in collaborating, you have to this kind of skill. Do you learn also? Do you think leaders also can, uh, when a certain leader like me will attend to you, then after the training, after this conversation, how can you tell? How can you guide us? How can you tell us to the way that we can implement all of this, because there's a lot of skills to do, and there is an urgency, there's an urgency that we need to accomplish, because with the situation right
There's a
now,
timeline.
the
There's a
timeline, what
timeline.
is
Yeah.
this?
We can
I love
always
your
approach that trends in two ways. When it's all about the skills, When it's all about that's a skill is the problem. If the skill is the problem, there must be a skill gap that your immediate superior should be able to detect or see during the
Right.
performance. You need
Mm-hmm.
coaching. But if the behavior is the one concern,
Uh-huh.
we are very partial about using the word counseling. Counseling.
That's very, 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 ano na, very in the time now. The when it comes to behavior, because of the pandemic, the behavior becomes so aggressive. No, it's actually the first thing that we need to understand. And you're very correct. So the right word is counseling.
Counseling. And
So the
especially you have
time,
heard a lot of problems about mental wellness. These are
yeah.
the kinds of problems that we are confronted now, and we need to really have a lot of guidance counselors.
For as of now, Sir Nick, I think the company is not in that stage because the company, I think, is still in that adaptation, the process how to sustain. But do you think at the same time, yes, I think you're very true that the company or the leaders itself, if you have a team that you're managing, has to focus also on this matter. How
Yes.
important is it, Sir Nick?
Well,
Why?
in the ISO project that I just finished, I was able, or we as a team were able to have it ISO certified. The company, we are very lucky because at the start of the pandemic, it's really some kind of a knee-jerk response from me, from the team of the ISO, na we instantly created what we call a HES structure, a HES, HESS. We immediately uh, we immediately create a team for HES, and majority are the top management team members. No, and this HES is about creating platforms for health, creating platforms for environment, creating platforms for security, and creating platforms for safety. So we created a lot of platforms that will govern the way we will be dealing with this pandemic. So from policy formulation to establishing the processes, the procedures, the policies, we were able to address. And we use certain productivity and quality tools to be able to push them to the people. And quality tools are 18 quality tools and 12 human relation tools that we were able to put forward for implementation. They are just there, but for
Wow,
implementation, they just have to draw which of these tools they are which of these
use.
tools are applicable or to be used over a particular problem or issue that will affect the company.
Wow. Sir Nick, ang galing mo. Sa Tagalog, excellence is husay. How how do you develop this? Kasi I've been to. It's not only because you're at your stage now. Shall I say in US
I
we
am
call it
already a senior
sorry.
citizen.
No, in US, Sir Nick, you know that we call in other countries when we say the old man. Oh my God, that old man. When you have that old man quote in quote, saan mo nakukuha yung husay? I met a lot of people in that stage, Sir Nick, but how
Maybe
do you
then
draw? How do you draw? How do you
part of
draw?
my engagement that I drew a lot of experiences was when I had the management audit for 198 government-owned and controlled
Oh,
corporations during the time of President Ramos, and we were around 20 consultants, and
oh,
I was one of them, and we did management audit for the government-owned and controlled corporations, and we saw how resources are being spent. We saw how people are mismatched in terms of the position they occupy with the job, with the skills that they possess, no, and also flaws in many systems, and flaws in the way that implementation are being done. No, that's why a lot of wastage of resources uh, are also happening. Even right now, we have seen a lot of GOCCs and some companies from the government sector that are still problematic in the way the way they are conducting themselves for their own about mission mandates or vision.
Wow. Sir Nick, with that, I am very proud having talking to you right now. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I think I'm not that qualified to really, to have this moment.
You're
But
still
thank you
young. You've
for your
got to,
generosity.
you've got a lot of time, and you need to have more engagement to be able
Yeah.
to really
And that's
acquire the depthness and the
what we're looking
depthness and
for.
the breadth of what you will be doing as a consultant or as a trainer. I just started as a trainer, and
That is
yeah, and the experience. Every experience is a learning lesson for me. So I really put I put them in all the things that I am into now. I became an OD consultant, management consultant, productivity improvement, change management, and ISO specialist.
wow. Okay, so Nick, let's put it in note. So we have discussed, I have written everything you have discussed in my own way. So let me try again to go back with what you have shared with us. So the seven C's for you to look into consideration when you manage as a leader during this crisis. Connection, collaboration, coordination.
Coordination,
Then we
calmness,
have command and control, the
command and
calmness,
control,
the clarity, and the last one is what is
clarity.
the last one? The clarity, and the last one, Sir Nick, is I can't understand what I have written.
The last
Coordination,
one is what we
communication,
call communication, consistency,
communication,
and calmness.
consistency. Wow. With all
Calmness.
of this, Sir Nick, I think leaders can really be guided on
Those are
how
just
to really.
guides, Renz. Those are just guides.
Yeah.
Those are just guides. But more than that,
Very,
one requisite talaga is to have a big heart. Without the big heart, you cannot do all the things that are expected of you as a leader. When you die, it's not the things that you do that will be remembered. It's the big heart that you leave or that you left that will be remembered by the people.
wow. But how you become, it's not what you do, but how you become by doing so and how you inspire people. Like
Yes,
sabihan nga, you need to touch the heart before you
yes,
can lend a hand. Tama
yes.
po ba? Sir Nick?
Uh,
All right.
that,
So with what
sabi
you
ni
shared, Mhm. Go ahead.
excuse me. Sabi ni Little Prince, ano yung sabi ni Little Prince? It is only it is only with the
I
heart that you see what is
uh-huh.
right, what is essential is invisible
Yes,
to
correct.
the eye. That's the
And you
famous
can feel
quotation of the
which
Little Prince
is
book.
wow. So talking about with the total with everything you have shared, I love this. This is the first time I heard about it. So survival today versus success tomorrow. Sir Nick,
Mm.
that is so deep. Oh my God. And in fact, a lot of people I think is struggling. And
Mhm.
with this word you have given, can you please give me more inspiration about this? How can we survive today looking forward that everybody, say for example, in a team, we have a leader, to have this leader leading the team. For example, in real estate situation in Philinvest, we have this a lot of sales leaders, and you met all of them in one huddle, and they have a lot of people. Me, for example, me in my own perspective at home, I have my family. I'm taking care of the family. I'm heading the family. So how can you give us positivity to to survive today and at the same time looking forward to the future? Because the dream should continue and we still have a lot of things to do. From parang you're telling us should not stop. Is that so, Sir Nick?
Para it's rest like this eh. Don't think about how to survive. Think about don't think about the virus. Think about how to survive and be able to really confront the virus by equipping yourselves with the things that you need to take, your vitamins, your food, the exercise. So beefing up yourself is the best way to really fight the virus, to really fight the pandemic. don't overthink. Don't overthink the virus because the virus is still there. We need to learn to live with the virus.
Wow.
And the only
Thank
thing that is left with us is always our capability to transcend beyond the virus. We need to be very healthy. So focus more on the health that we have rather than focusing on the virus.
you.
Don't overthink about the virus.
So do you see a better future as a as a leader? Sometimes we need to be honest, so Nick, that as a leader, there's fear, there's some frustrations, that just sometimes make you feel how do you call it, incompetent. Sometimes you're losing hope. So how do
Mhm.
you see the future about with this situation, Sir Nick?
Well, in
Do you
this kind of situation, it's always a balance between what you can do and what you cannot do, and who your friends are and who your enemies are. But in this time of pandemic, let's not think about stressing more ourselves because we don't like certain people, we don't like certain environment. Uh, the advice is always let's not stress ourselves. Let's not add wrinkles to our faces.
yeah,
Let's just
just
try to
like
be
you, yeah,
relaxed. Let's try to be chillax and let's try
chill
to
out.
really enjoy life because life is short, friends. Life is
Yeah.
short. We
All right.
don't
I
have
like.
much time to talk about toxic people, to talk about negativities, to talk about uh, office mates who are not, you know, who are not within our sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Let them be. I mean, let's just be a friend to them. But if they don't want us to be friend, why stress your life? You have
That's
your
true.
own life. Let's tolerate diversity by all means. That's the way to live. Di ba? That's the way to
You're
live.
very correct, Sir Nick. And I think also we need to discover also some things that we can do at home. Just like this,
Yeah,
Sir Nick, I never
yeah.
imagined it and never expected that I'll come up with this platform because I am inside my house. I'm stuck inside my house and I don't want to get out. And I'm also have that fear of being afflicted with this virus. So I come up with
Mm.
a way on how we can
And this is very good.
relax.
This is a very good platform for you.
Thank you,
This
Sir
is a
Nick.
very good
Okay.
platform for you.
You're having a picture. Sir
Yeah.
Nick,
Oh,
bago yan, before let's have try to acknowledge. All right, let's try to acknowledge our viewers. Hazel and Moon, thank you for watching. Sabi ni Shane Son from Cebu. Sir Nick, hi Sir Nick. Watching from Cebu. Tintin Priya, stay home Sir Nick. True full of
really?
information. Galing po talaga ni Sir Nick. Ayan, we have friends from Singapore, from Hong Kong, si Andrea Oreta. We also have Marcel, an OFW from different worlds from abroad as well, Hong Kong. And Carla Barros is watching as well. You and a lot of our friends, I don't know. Thank you, Hannah Lagod, also from abroad. And a lot of OFWs. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Because we have an OFW, Sir Nick. Sir Nick, can you please, okay, I'm sorry. Can you please tell Nick, inspire our OFWs, they're working abroad. And I think it has something about standing. They are leaders in times of crisis, right, Sir Nick? Because, OFWs are experiencing all of this, especially that they are in other nations, they cannot
Uh-huh.
just go in at any point of time. What can you tell them?
Okay, I was once in OFW also. I worked
Wow.
at mainland China as a consultant teacher there. So I taught for a while three subjects, and then towards the last semester I was given five subjects, and I cannot breathe anymore. So patience is always a virtue, eh? And
Yes.
living in a communist country is even harder
Oh,
than
oh my
any
God.
other country in the world. I've experienced communist party, the hard
Oh,
line inside China.
because you are you
So
are you're bounded with the rules with this regime.
it's within. Hindi ito yung revisionist China, but the hardline communist China. You're
Wow.
dealing with the Communist Party. You're dealing
Okay.
with the CCP, Communist Party of Communist China.
Oh my God. What?
CCC. So it's very, but it's even more difficult than any westernized or any Asian country. China is very difficult to live in China. You always live in a cloud of doubt. Who are your
Um,
true friends? It's very
oh my
difficult there. But I managed to finish my contract. But my contract is always a contract that is, I called, yung contract ko is different eh.
God.
Uh, my contract is different because my families can, the members of the family can go there anytime they
Good.
want to
Okay.
visit. So there was a problem with the food. There was a problem with the food, and hygiene is not so so good in that country.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, I
learned to
know.
live with it because I want to earn money. No, I want to earn money and I want to experience what's really life because what I knew
Yeah.
of this country was in the earlier times, eh, di ba? They live in boats, but I haven't seen any poor family in China.
Oh,
They are all living in condominiums. They are all, very progressive. So it's different from the books that we read during the time that we studied Asian
oh,
history or history. But I enjoyed China. Uh, Basically, we eat meat once a week, all vegetable
they,
for the entire week.
wow, that's why you're so healthy. That's why you're
And
still healthy.
and there are 2 days, ano there, rest days. But everything is provided in our condo. My wife stays with me, and my
Mm-hmm.
children can visit anytime. But
That would
it's
be wonderful.
always a virtue, the patience, your
Patience.
resourcefulness. If you are lonely, you have to bear
Mm-hmm.
with the lonely. You have to make yourself busy,
Yeah.
trying to talk to other countries, people. No, you have to talk. You have to
Yes.
live. You have to go anywhere. Ang dami kong napuntahan. I enjoyed it more than the loneliness. I
Wow.
enjoyed going to other beautiful ancient China. Na,
Wow.
any,
Never been to China at all. I just been to the rural areas of China, but
yeah,
never
I've
been
gone
to
through
China.
inside the deep recesses of the mountains. I
Wow.
haven't seen any poor family there.
According to the
They
history, the stories of the world started from from this agricultural areas and then develop and sell like this. It's a
yeah,
different story, Nick. But
uh,
going,
they started the development. They started with the corridors of China. Ibig sabihin,
China,
yung mga eco zones natin dito, yun ang mga corridors sa China. So, yun ang una
mm,
nilang dinevelop.
develop.
Ngayon, yung mga tao, in terms of development, hindi sila umalis dun sa Communist Party of dealing with the people. Ang mayaman sa kanila is the government and ang mahirap sa kanila yung mga tao pero provided all the social services.
Wow,
You
that
see
was
the differences between a capitalist country and a communist country. And I learned a lot. We need to be very patient, and if we have strong ambitions, we really have to put every single centavo that we earn so that by the time we return to our
that,
country, we will have money to spend for and we'll have money to start our own business.
that is a very good side. Yeah, and a lot of OFWs take that from our master trainer Sheng Wei. Thank you for listening to us. Okay, Sir Nick, going back again to our
Hmm.
topic, we need leaders. Okay, um, as we drawing to the end of our conversation, but don't worry, we still have 30 minutes conversation, and if we can stretch this more, that would be lovely. Okay, Sir Nick,
Yung pangako ko kanina, the
a leader should have focus.
medical
Yeah.
populism. Medical
I
populism
love it. I love it. But
is the
tapos na ba
inward
tayo, Sir
today.
Nick, doon
Uh,
sa mga
yeah,
focus and core
yeah,
leaders? Are we done
yeah.
with that? Those
We're
leaders
finished with that.
focus. Okay.
Uh, uh,
Go ahead,
now,
Sir Nick.
now I would like to discuss and open your sights on medical populism because this is
Medical
the kind of a
population.
developing leadership theory and model nowadays. So there are three personalities. Kasama na yung president natin, si President Duterte, President Trump, at si President
Mhm.
Bolsonaro of Brazil. All of
Mm-hmm.
them, if you may look, they are outstanding in terms of coronavirus diseases.
She
Di
says,
ba? Oo, tama, di ba? Champion sila
yes,
sa dati, sa Asian
champion.
countries, talaga naman, sa Brazil, sa US. But
Yes,
unfortunately, there
mobile.
is a downside to medical populism because medical populism, there are four, this is a style of political leadership. There are four approaches that we currently experience or see around us. First is medical populism is a statement of a simplified problem. And
Statement.
if you may notice, it's a problem characterized by two things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a health problem and an economy problem, bringing down this idea to the very people in the poorest of the poor. Ganyan ang pagkakaintindi natin. Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
Yes.
about simplifying a particular pandemic problem which has a Herculean effect globally and locally, but simplified and divided in just outstanding outstanding
Division
approaches.
or factor.
Oo. So meron tayong tinatawag na health problem and then the other one is the economic problem. So
How
which is which? Which is which? We are into
the
it now. Is it the economy or the health of the people?
health of people. Correct.
Diba? O yan ang problema natin ngayon. So that belongs to what we call the first theory. So ang tawag natin diyan is simplification of the problem of
Wow.
pandemic. The second
Simplification.
is dramatization. Second is dramatization.
Go ahead.
Tapos na ba?
No, why is Nick?
Okay. The
May,
second is, friends, dramatization. What is
the,
dramatization?
wow, there's a lot.
Dramatization. Oh, you have seen a lot, you have heard a lot.
I
It's
heard a
a
lot. I saw
problem
it.
between the health system and the workers. It's a problem between the health, between the poor and the rich. It's a problem between contesting parties around us. So it is what we call dramatization. Third is very, very easy. Is forging. Forging what? Forging division. You forge division. Division
Oh my
from who?
God. Oh,
You've
that is
seen.
very,
You've seen war in speakership. You have seen a war with the government funds. You see a war with the
yeah,
SW. You see a war everywhere, di ba?
yeah.
So let's try to
Why?
see and discern the things that are happening around us and try to see the characteristics of a particular leader slowly being molded into this kind of leadership,
Wow.
medical populism. And the fourth
Brilliant.
one is
Mm-hmm.
very, very important. The fourth one is acknowledging knowledge claims. What is
Acknowledging that.
acknowledging knowledge claims? All
Wow.
right. This is a
Still,
big issue. It's
yeah,
a big thing.
at the time.
It's a big word. Well, it started just merely from a simple case or a problem from Wuhan, China. And things have been carried on from country to country, from dialect to dialect, from
For real.
community to community, correct? And it
Yes.
was presented to us as if it's the scientific way of explaining to us what the pandemic is all about. But in reality, the core is true. The core belief is true,
Mm-hmm.
but the significance matters because the significance is always inflated.
Inflated by a lot of
Inflated
them.
by the many
Nations,
telltale stories, and
tourists.
everyone
Yeah,
has already believed that
yeah.
many transfer of stories, and
Yeah.
it's simply in the end we are all astounded by the fact that we are here already, and the leadership that is being molded now is medical populism.
Wow. That is new but very significant sharing, Sir Nick. I love it. medical populism. I'm trying to cope up actually. I'm developing a module about it, how we can balance, with the economic and with the situation. And I'm just so happy that you mentioned about that. So it's true. So Nick, in your own perspective, what is really happening? Are we really doing the fighting against the virus, and at the same time, are we taking care of the
Well,
people of the
we as a third world country, we are always beggars can't be choosers. So in terms
world?
of
I think
the
it's the right.
medicine or vaccination,
Yeah.
the vaccination allotment for us, syempre, it will all be at the call of the country that will distribute it, who invented it.
Sir Nick, I love
Kung
to. I
walang
love
pera,
to.
walang gamot. That's
Correct.
the politics of the vaccination. No money, no vaccination.
For vaccination. Sir Nick, I love this topic. No, I think this is a lovely topic. Hope we can come back to really talk about this. Sometimes it is our obligation also to be aware of the situation. And in fairness, Sir Nick, uh, the government is doing its best because the government never expected this to happen. Nobody's prepared. And I think with just mere understanding, if we're also struggling with this change, I think, of course, the government will do because the government.
We have a lot of discussion topics pa, including the kind of, we are in a state of mindfulness. That's another
Mindfulness.
concept that is floated around, the state of mindfulness, that is being present and is presence,
Yeah.
but there must be pure intentions. Eh. So
So
yung
what is
state of
the
mindfulness,
Nick,
it's kasama yung sa develop.
bottom
It's
line
included in the concept
to
of medical populism also.
okay. So what is totally make a last stand on it, Sir Nick? What is the bottom line of this medical populism? What is the importance of
But
it?
the bottom line is always digress into something that you will look up. You will not admire uh, big countries, because there's always what we call an issue related to they're doing it because of certain
Yeah.
motives or hidden
Smart.
agenda.
It
We
could
should be mature enough, because even when you were still in your high school or in your college, after all, big countries are always for small countries welfare, but in reality, they are not. But in
correct.
reality,
That's
they are not. We should be very discerning by this time.
understanding which is right, which is wrong. Then we just do what is right without anybody's watching and try to understand the situation. Is
Mhm.
that your saying, Sir Nick?
Yes, yes,
Just
I
live the
believe.
life inside your house and keep yourself safe. That is, I think, the greatest contribution that we
Mhm.
can give to the government, not adding to a liability, including the
Correct,
statistics of
correct,
liability and problems of the country, right? And
correct.
moving forward, at the same time, Sir Nick, as a leaders, as a, say, for example, as a human person, we have a lot of characteristics that we need to intensify. I think that is the right term. We need to intensify these characteristics, and at the same time, being a leader, what are these characteristics? Can you give us
And
some?
past leaders that we have, they're not perfect leaders. All of them have flaws in their character. All of them have flaws in their character. Up to this very moment, you can see the different leaders pass through generation to generation, but we still look for a leader that is really flawless. But we cannot find a leader that has a flawsome character. It's always it's always a character that's missing. We missed some important characters. That's why I enumerated to you the traits of a leader. Di ba? Ano yung pito, walo? I
You
gave you
mentioned
the...
coordination, clarity,
No,
coordinate
that's
control.
not. No, that's not. The leaders are the resilience,
The resilience, agility, yeah,
compassion, resolve,
empathetic,
diligence,
yeah,
brutal honesty, and hope.
give
The
honesty
one
and
who
hope.
will hope give us
Yes,
hope and inspire us to really withstand the pandemic or
that is
withstand
very
any
true.
kind of
And
problem
sometimes,
that
Sir Nick, moving forward with the, let's use the platform because, there is always a difference between how you're going to inspire people, how you're going to lead people. Now that there is a restriction and isolation, we're far from each other. We're very far from each other. What is your insight about this one?
all right.
How can we lead people?
Well,
We're
we
not
need,
seeing in
yeah.
the regular basis. They're out there remote.
Yeah. But dun sa concept of leadership in the new normal, we have one personal activity there that demands from the leader is the personal interconnectedness.
Mhm.
Because if we do not see our employees every day, the more that leaders should have cultivated personal interconnectedness, every hour they should be monitored, not in terms of the work, but in terms of their personal circumstances, like the health of the family, how are they doing, things beyond the work. It should be the concern of the employer nowadays. The health, the well-being, the mental wellness, they should be included as part of the daily chat put up for interconnecting with the employees. Personal interconnectedness is one activity demanded by the environment nowadays.
That is very true. So you mean to say, Nick, it is also but imperative for us to not only to, hey, deliver now, tell me you do this, you report to me this, but at the same time, you try to check on them, their situation, bringing encouragement,
Uh,
asking their situation. I think that
more than
that's
the
very
more than the output, leaders should now be concerned with the well-being and welfare of the employees more than the output, because ang output ngayon is skeletal lang yan eh. We only have skeletal force manning all strategic points of the organization.
that
Hindi
is true.
lahat buo, only certain areas or strategic areas in the organization. And the more important thing now is yung scalar principle in the organization is not being followed now because of the very lean people inside the org. Yung scalar principle is that, di ba, maraming mga authority sa organization. Hindi na yun nasusunod ngayon. Dati isa, pero ngayon, sino yung capable, yun ang uutusan. Sino yung malakas ng resistance, yun ang ating uutusan pagdi-delivery ng output.
Yes.
But care should also be observed.
Be
Like doon
sure.
sa aming company na related kay Mrs., yung gas manufacturing, alam mo ba na sinusustenehan namin sila ng vitamina? They are given vitamins. Binigyan pa sila ng mga flu vaccine. Binigyan pa sila ng pinatest sila lahat.
Wow.
So everything
Very
now is within the care and wellness of the employees more than the profit, more than everything else. Because the workforce is the backbone of the company, backbone of the country, the workforce. No one else. Kaya secondary na lang profit ngayon. Ang importante, buhay ang tao natin.
exactly. I think that's so true right now. And they're healthy and they can survive with that. Because
Yeah,
we
yun
always
nga. Yun nga sinasabi ko sa iyo kanina na we should focus more on equipping ourselves with the vitamins, equipping ourselves with the nutritious food, and to fight for the virus, not to fear the virus, but to fight the virus.
that is true. Wow, Sir Nick, maraming salamat. Before that, Sir Nick, can you give us let's summarize. Let's give a final synopsis. Do you have anything to let's just wrap up what we have shared today and inspire people in a manner that is a practical way of telling them that this should be the things that we need to do. If we are leaders, these are the things that we need to do. These are the character that we need to have for us to continue to sustain and continue
Well,
push
uh,
our people.
the only advice that I can give to you is always from the viewpoint of a productivity improvement and change management specialist. We
Mm,
need to know our people. We need to know what they can do, and we need to know what development programs can be given to them. And most importantly, we should love our people because they are the backbone and the asset of the organization more than anything else. People is the strongest asset of the organization. We need to love people. If you are in this business like ours, we cannot afford to be at odds with the people. We should take care of our people. Nobody will take us to the position that we have now. We do not know how to care for people. We do not know how to care for everyone else in the organization. They are our lifeblood. No profit nowadays, only the well-being and safety and security of our people.
Wow, that is just very commendable. How do you see the future, Sir Nick, from your perspective as a man full of experience through times and decades? How do you see 2021, 2022? What will happen in the future, Sir Nick?
Well, it's
How do you
still sabi nga ng isang organizational coach na nag-assess ng environment natin ngayon. Sabi niya, we live moment by moment. We live moment by moment.
what do you mean by that? Moment by
It
moment.
means that everything is temporary unless we have the vaccination discovered the earliest, and I believe that it's still to be delivered or distributed as early as the first quarter of next year, and it's a lot more number of months for us to really keep fit, be physically fit, mentally fit for our job,
Wow.
di ba?
Yes, Sir Nick, maraming maraming salamat for sharing your insight today. I'm so
It,
lucky and
it's my
extremely
honor. It's
grateful.
my honor. I hope I touch everyone's heart, every listener's heart, to be able to love their coworkers, to be able to spread love, to take care of their health, and most importantly is to really contribute to the company. Even
Yes,
this is pandemic, let's not fear pandemic. Let's fear for our stomach,
amazing. That is correct. Sir
di
Nick,
ba?
that is true because we need to gain the trust as well. If you're working at home, if you're working remote, working from home,
Yeah,
and if you're working anywhere in this world, as long as you're connected with your company, you're doing the right job, you're not cheating, you are there monitoring everything.
yeah.
Uh, I think you deserve also a
Oh,
commendation from your
yeah,
company.
I guess so. I
As
guess
I
so.
always told you, you gave me this module, remember, assertiveness. I cannot
Oh,
forget that. It's always a win-win.
communication assertiveness. That was my last training module
Exactly.
for Philin Best, communication
Yeah.
assertiveness.
And you gave me one.
Delivering the blow through a gentle whisper.
Yes. So let's have a win-win solution for this. A
Yes.
win-win relationship as well. So Nick, thank you so much for inspiring me
Well,
and
I
the
hope
rest of
this will not be the first, the last. Last
hopefully
pala. Sabi
we
mo,
can
November, everything will turn out good for all your networks. So we
yes.
will be having a lot of heydays for the few
Yes.
more days to come. Di ba?
And so, Nick, of course, I would like to take advantage to promote you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for the best motivational corporate sales training, anything, say it, management, risk management, Sir Nick, please try, modesty aside, please try to promote because I know they need to listen to you in person somehow. Maybe in the coming days, or if they want to hire you, you can actually be their guest speaker, be their guest in their talks, in their webinars. I think this is the best opportunity,
Well, I
Sir
am
Nick.
available, and I believe I have forwarded to you my Facebook. My
Yes.
Facebook is NMSync,
And then,
NMCINK, a trainer. So just tell me that you are one of my webinar participant or trainees, then I will accept you. No problem with me. And this will not be the first. This will not be the last. But this will be the beginning of an encounter that will be more fruitful to all of us.
Sir Nick, thank you so much.
It's my
Maraming
honor,
salamat.
and I hope this will not be the last. For the last time, I am telling you,
Definitely.
yes.
This will not be the last. Master Sheng Wei in the house. Thank you.
All
God
right.
bless. And I'll see you. I haven't utang to you. I
Bye-bye.
promise I'll see you. I'll get to see you soon.
Your certificates is forwarded to me. Two certificates.
Yes, sir Nick. It's done. After this, I'll send it to you. And good luck to your family. I want to say to
Because
your family,
I am
you can greet
collecting all the
Sir Nick. You can have a greetings to your family. Come on. I greet your family. I think they're watching us, right?
oh, my family.
Yeah.
Ano, they are working in their own. My daughter is work from home.
Oh, wait,
Uh,
Sir Nick, I forgot. I have a portion here. Your favorite color.
my favorite color is here.
Orange, something orange.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
orange.
my favorite too. Oh my God, that's my color. Abaw, lalapit ako. How to be you? Okay, your favorite scent, your cologne,
Then
your favorite
my cologne is CK.
CK. Wow, pareha din. CK1. I have CK1 or whatever, Calvin Klein, Eternity. Your favorite dish?
This, it's my favorite dish is always adobo,
Adobo.
mixed chicken and
Okay.
pork.
Wow. Your favorite brand clothing, shoe brand?
Shoe brand is always floor shine,
Oh,
floor
buti na
shine.
lang, meron din yan. Okay, ano ba mga favorite natin? Motto. May motto sa buhay, di ba, nung bata?
Moto, I believe it's in the last slide for the
The
last
last slide?
presentation. Yeah,
Oh, what is that?
yung may honing in the dark because he prepares for it. That's
Oh,
why it shines in
wow.
daytime. Di ba?
Your
Parang ganun.
favorite country you visited?
Ha?
Favorite country you visited? Your favorite country?
Oh, I
You
like Scotland. I
wow,
like
nice.
Scotland.
How is it there, Sir Nick? Masarap. Boy, sa country.
You will be enamored by the rustic scenery along the highway and also the mystic place because it's an old town province of United Kingdom and all the castles are there.
And
Very connecting.
last one, your favorite pastime? Anong ginagawa mong, anong
Time,
malimit mong
eating, reading, Facebooking.
you're still engaged. You're now in with the platform, the social
Story.
media
The
platform.
story.
All right.
My different travels, my different trainings are in the story part of the Facebook. It's not in the
Wow.
normal run, but if you want to read the normal run, you can see there the different principles I wrote. There are around ten principles I wrote and 10 different, I think, quotations that I hold dear to myself and use it
Sorry,
as my
sorry.
ano,
You're
as
writing
my
a book. You're writing a book, right?
standards of life.
You're finishing a book. Sorry, you're finishing a
Yeah,
book, sorry.
I've already finished and it's being edited now and it's titled Effective Leadership Supervision in the New and Beyond the New Normal. I finished it
Wow.
and they are editing it and I hope I'll schedule to deliver it on the 20th of this month if it will
Woo,
be
that's soon.
finished in terms of the editing of structure. Structure
Let me
only, not the content because I'm not that good as a tech savvy person.
All right, Sir Nick, let me be the one to have a copy of that book and we're looking forward for the release of that book. Maraming
Okay.
salamat, Sir Nick. Thank you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon and God bless you always. Please
Oh,
stay
so
up.
by November, I'm expecting to be guest of this show
Yeah, to promote
four
the book.
times, one every
Yeah.
week,
It
because you
would
are
be lovely.
viable already in terms of the number of subscribers that you have, amounting
Thank
to how
you.
much? How many more? I believe it's already more than 2,000.
Thank you so much, Sir Nick. Thank you so much. God
Okay,
bless you. At maraming salamat po muli.
no
Magkikita po
problem.
tayo.
Just give me a ring or text so I can
Okay.
respond accordingly. Thank you
God
very
bless
much.
you.
Okay.
Bye-bye and have
So
a
yung
great day.
aking certificate, padala mo na lang
Yes, Sir Nick. I'll be sending you the certificate right after our show.
today.
God
Oh,
bless
today. Thank you.
and
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Opo.
Okay.
Ingat po, Sir Nick, in
Say my
regards to your
regards
family.
to Blas Gizon. Say my
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sir Nick. You would like to say something? You would like to say regards? Narinig ko
yes,
yun. Go ahead,
Blas
Sir Nick.
Gizon. Blas Gizon and the
Thank
rest
you.
of the Philippine Best employees, Cagayan de
Wow.
Oro, Davao,
You,
Cebu.
you have
Ano
a
pa
lot
ba?
of fans there.
Okay, just say hi to all of
Zamboanga
them.
and Dumaguete.
Yes,
And the
oo.
rest of the Investment Incorporated from Southern Luzon, Metro Manila, and Southwest
In
Cluster.
the head office.
God bless you. Hanggang sa
Okay.
muli.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, there we go with this great afternoon with our Master Sheng Wei, aka Nick A. Matias. Hope we clean, collected beautiful thoughts. Hope everybody was inspired with his sharing, with his insight, with his full, abundant mind, honed through experience and through dedication, hard work, and definitely honesty and generosity. Maraming salamat for joining me this afternoon. Thank you for joining me in this cool water session with the Mindbase channel. Always remember that the great leaders is not set out to be leader, but they're set out to make a difference. As leaders in our own world, in our own comfort zone, in our own group, or in our own team, we must be the best that we are and continue to inspire our people with positivity, with love, and with compassion. Thank you. Our session today, our real talk with Master Sheng Wei ends at this moment. See you again next year. Thank you for joining me for this another episode of the Mind Gears channel. Always remember, this is your TV, your perspective. See you again next week. My name is Renz.